We have 4 different types of rum, right? And we have the dark, the blonde, the Marquesas, and the all new sherry cask, which is phenomenal. They're all phenomenal, but they're all a little distinct and everything like that. You can have one of one now and one of one later, and who knows?
Yeah, let's switch it up.
We'll be here. We're going to be here for like the next 5 hours doing this. So
right.
Buckle up, everybody.
When the rum gets flowing.
Right. So let's do the Marquesas.
Yes.
How about that? All right.
You're the expert here.
I am right, John. I am the rum expert now.
You are.
Right? And even look how proud George Paul Roma would be of me.
I'm not even looking at it.
Quickly, I did
opening
that.
I did have problems to a point where he came onto the show, and here's this little souvenir from the show.
Thank you.
Special release.
I'll frame this by my bed.
So, and then the next time he came on the show, because George has been on the show like 5 times.
Yes.
And then the second time he came on, he brought me a bottle with instructions on it, how to open it. So.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a little tough pill to swallow, right?
I mean, it worked. So. Look at you.
Yep.
You've come so far. He's so proud of you.
Sometimes you need to be shamed into an education.
I've been there.
Right. So here we are, podcasting.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for coming to see me.
Oh, delicious.
It's good, right?
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks for being here.
Already.
See? So here we are. So you want to hear a funny thing is? All right. So everyone can hear the beeping, right? So we're right off of Atlantic Boulevard. Literally, Atlantic Boulevard is about 20 feet away from us. Mm-hmm. And we were here this weekend, and this is our first weekend opening the store, right? So we're like still kind of getting used to being open because we were here for 2 months, and the windows have been papered. So if anyone's watched this show, right? So they'll probably see like a new light, right? Of how everything looks in here. So,
right.
But the thing is, on the weekends, the bridge goes up every half an hour. So we literally have a captive audience just like standing there for like 5 minutes. I'm like, we got to do something with that.
I don't have it watching right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So for like St. Patrick's Day next year, because it was just St. Patrick's Day, which is our anniversary of our company. And so we just Harris and I turned 2, right?
That's so appropriate.
Right? Yeah. Harris and I turned 2. So well, like next year, I want to dress everybody up as leprechauns for St. Patrick's Day. And when the bridge goes up, just a bunch of leprechauns just runs out in the traffic and starts giving everyone like 5% off coupons.
That's epic.
What do you think?
Absolutely.
Good?
I mean, are you asking me to be the leprechaun?
Yes.
Because you're like, what do you think?
Oh, that would be great.
I felt like that's where that was going.
You can do like the Irish jig and everything like that and run out there.
I am Irish.
Yeah.
Are you Irish?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Very fitting.
There you go. Once again, we got to do that because
for sure.
For the green.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Have you been to Ireland?
I have not been to Ireland.
Oh, come on. You got to go.
You been?
Absolutely. Twice.
Oh, absolutely twice.
Come on. It's like, if you're Irish.
I know.
No, okay. That was harsh.
It's number 1 on our list.
I feel like you would have such an appreciation.
I've never been out of the country. Well, on that side of the world.
Okay. My face was like.
I've been out of the country all over this side of the world, but not
there.
That side of the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I've never been to Europe. I've never been to Japan or Australia or anything like that.
Probably because there's no like sailfish or blue marlin in Italy.
Right. Right. Exactly. So I'm just going to, they got dolphins swimming through Venice now, apparently, ever since the water's been clean. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So.
But I don't see you going on a dolphin sightseeing tour.
No, not going to happen. We do that down too much in the Keys anyway. Right. Pull them into your wake.
But now I know why, because normally in like fishing families are just like, water families. You travel, you think you're going to get away from your norm. No, you travel to where, oh, you want to go on vacation, go fishing? You're like, yep, sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where, what else is there? Like anytime you go on a vacation, I have 2 little kids, right? 7 and 10, right? Take your time, by the way, on like the kid thing.
I thought you meant my drink. I was like, whoa.
No.
I was like, it's just a really good drink.
But like they want to go to Disney all the time and we got to do that. And it's fun and we enjoy it and everything like that. But, the best trips are when, like you're saying, like when you could take on excursion and, get out on the water and everything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I'm going to formally introduce you. So we're here today with Lexie Creary, right? Should I say of HMY Yachts?
Yeah.
Right. And good friend of the studio. And thank you for coming to visit us here on Connected by Water, presented by Joey ACCARDI, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and fueled by Papa's PILAR Rum.
Yes.
So, yeah. So
happy to be here.
Thanks.
So excited to see this new place.
What do you think?
Oh my, mind blowing. Just like staring at all of these unbelievable paintings behind you, and definitely here to shop.
Yeah.
Half here to talk to you, half here to shop.
All right, cool. Yeah, we're I'm happy that we finally have this gallery, not even just for me, but for Liz too, just to have her work up and out, because until now it's all been kind of like, you know, when I usually do a commission, it's like, or a painting, it's usually just gone, and then we'll make the prints and everything like that. So we don't ever put them out or up. And now we have a place to put them out and up.
It's incredible.
So, yeah.
And I like the variety a lot, but it makes it hard to pick.
Yeah.
Really hard.
That's good.
Great problem to have.
Yeah, that's good.
That's why you just get a couple.
One thing I want to bring up today is the fact that you're starting a podcast.
I am.
Right?
I am.
So, and it's what's called From the Bridge?
From the Flybridge.
From the Flybridge. Okay. And now take me through a little bit of that experience in starting up you've just completed episode 1, right?
Yeah. So we're live. It's so exciting.
Okay.
I'm very passionate about this project. And the way it started was HMY approached me a couple months ago, Rachel from business development. She's like, hey, you know, the team's talking and we want to do a podcast, and we think that you would be the perfect host.
I agree, by the way.
I was like, of course, they always do this to me in passing, you know, like it's not like, oh, we're going to have a meeting, you know, like you're on the way to a showing or you're on the way to like, you're at a boat or something. And so, of course, it's like
by the way,
passing.
you're doing this kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a question, but you can tell it's not a question.
Mm-hmm.
It happens to me a lot. It's really funny. That's a great point that you recognize that. So they say, I think you'd be a really great host because, you know, you grew up in the Keys, you have the fishing aspect, you know, a lot of the fishermen in the industry, you know, a lot of the respected teams, the tournament side of it, but you also specialize in motor yachts. So you can really appease to a large crowd and, you know, relate. And when I'm talking to these guests, you know, I can understand their lingo. When we go deep into tournament talk, you know, we're talking tackle, we're talking what pound line, 1 pound test, like all these different things. I'm not lost in the conversation. So they're,
right.
You know, they're like, I think you'd be perfect for this. And I was like, yeah. And initially you're like, heck yes, this is so awesome. You don't realize the work it goes into it. So like, hats off to you. Like, incredible where you're at. That's where we aspire to be.
Oh,
so
thanks.
That's why, like, I'm happy to be
I don't put a lot of work
today.
into it. I really don't, though. I got to be honest with you. John does.
Okay.
But I don't really.
Well,
so,
okay. Props to your team.
Okay, no, we do actually put a lot. We actually work hard at making it look like we don't put a lot of work into it.
But like people don't realize that it's really tough, right?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of learning. You know, I can be honest with you. When we first started it, I feel like we started off with a bang by bringing in Sarah and Vinny LaSorsa.
Mm-hmm.
They had just gotten done building the last Mango, you know, and everything like that.
Right.
And you know, and we wanted to spotlight Freedom Fighter Outdoors because that's always the big thing about our studio is like the one big beneficiary that we try to help out always is the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to make that a point right away that's what we're all about.
Love that.
And you know, Vinny and Captain Vinny's a great friend of mine. For those of you that don't know, this is Jimmy Buffett's boat captain. And so we felt like we really started off strong. And then I know like, you know, Jimmy Wickett was one of our early guests, and, you know, I love Jimmy to death. And, you know, and we had some really strong people like right out of the gate. And, but I look back on the podcasts then, and I look back at how good they go now. There's definitely a lot of learning to be had on, you know, just little things that you can't predict.
Yes.
You know, and it's tough to even to like explain to people because with it, you know, you just got to kind of live through it and understand. And all I can say is like, if you want to quit after 10 episodes because you just don't feel like it's going right, then you probably should, because maybe you're not meant to do it. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? But if you really want to do it, you can make it happen and push through all that.
Yeah.
And your show is going to take on a life of its own, because at the end of the day, it's really just like an extension of yourself.
Yes.
It's really, and I think if you take that mindset and just make it an extension of yourself, then it's going to eventually just come out naturally.
Yeah. When I say it's
probably the
difficult,
best advice I could give, you know,
and
about that. What
I
I've
agree with
learned in
you.
a short period of time, at least.
I mean, you say short period of time, but it's like so successful. What episode is this? 70 what?
78?
I think it's 78. 77 or
78.
78.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
So I hope I'm sitting in a seat one day saying this is episode 78. I think that's awesome.
You will be.
I see it happening because when I tell you that it's difficult, it's because you get so passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was approached, I said yes. I sat down. I'm like, what's the vision I want for this? What do I want people to take away from this? How can people benefit from this? How can this be not just any old podcast? How can this change someone's life? Literally, like that. If one person can listen to one episode and go home and do something different that day, or book a trip to Australia because they just listened to that, that there's granders there and they've never been to Lizard Island before, and they come home and either say to their family, we're going to Lizard Island to go black marlin fishing, or they do it themselves or put it on their bucket list. So I got so excited. And then now that it's here, because we're a couple months into the making and we just had the launch in the first episode, I have so much pride behind it because, our hearts are in it and I'm there for the right reasons, and I'm meeting the most amazing people and learning more about people that I already know. And it's different. So from the Flybridge is every aspect of yachting. So we have tournament fishing, the sport fishing crowd, but then we have the motor yacht traveling, like all of their stories, which is incredible where they go. And then it's also about business tycoons, these yacht owners. How did you get to where you are? You spend your weekends on a $3 million sport fish as a hobby. And we all know that's not cheap at all. Like, how did you get to this place? And I love hearing their stories. I'm so ate up with it and I'm so excited about it.
It's really such a good point you bring up about the people, like the boat owners in particular. Because you do wonder that all the time. It's like, because people always wonder, they put themselves in their shoes, like, how the hell do I get to a point in my life where I'm owning that huge thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a weird question. And it's like, well, I'm sure, everyone's going to say a lot of hard work, right? But we always say that on this show that I could care less about the, movie stars in Hollywood and people that TMZ follows around, that we're being told these are the people you need to pay attention to, right? So part of the focus on our show, one of the biggest focuses on our show is like, no, this is where I grew up. There's amazing people here that are doing things that you could only dream of doing in your lifetime. Like those guys, like the captains, like, the Skip Smiths over here. And like just that world is such an alien planet to so many people.
Yes.
And that's really that's what I wanted to highlight. That's what I wanted. That's what I saw growing up. And that's what I wanted to show people. That's what I wanted to feature, And that's what the show is all about. I mean, Connected by Water is more than that, because you could feature everyone from just the kid that grew up, snook fishing to the biggest guy, fishing the biggest marlin tournament in the world. And we've done all that, and that's what I love about the broadness of our show, because it ties together and brings together so many people, you know what I mean? But it's really interesting that you bring that up about, like, where did that come from? How did you get to that point? It's like, it's mind boggling sometimes. So that's real. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. I mean, when you're sitting in the cockpit and you're lucky enough to be invited fishing, I've had the privilege of fishing on the Viking demo boat and fishing with a lot of great teams. And my favorite thing is sitting in the cockpit, you're looking at the guy next to you, like, tell me about yourself, and what's your favorite day fishing? And it's just so natural the way you get talking. And sometimes they talk about their family and why, fishing has been so important to them. Sometimes they talk about, their rags to riches story and how they worked their way from nothing to become, somebody who can have this experience. I want to hear from the guy that walks down the dock in Levi's. You have no idea that he owns, that boat. I love it. Like,
right.
Those are the type of people that we get to, like you said, be around every day.
1,000%. I mean, a guy like Mike Lamb is the perfect example where, listen, Mike Lamb can bury all of them, right? But he doesn't. You know what I mean? He's the most humble guy you could ever meet. He comes into the studio. He's good for, he's a client. He's a friend, the whole thing like that. We do a lot of work for him. So he'll come into the studio and he'll be like, hey, what's up, Dennis? You know what I mean? And we'll just, he'll sit down and he'll just talk through some stuff. And, I said to him one day, I'm like, you'd never know it. And, this is what it was. So we're doing a design for him, and he wanted it to be like a coat of arms kind of thing, right? For the Island Rover. And we were just going through that design. And so I kind of pulled the Lamb family crest from the internet to kind of take a look at it. And I showed it to him, and I'm like, so listen, I thought I had a great idea. I'm like, I told you family crest. And I'm like, maybe we can make it look like that and coincide it with this and everything like that. And he's like, oh, is that my family crest? Right. And I'm like, what are you British or you like, what, like, I don't know. I'm like, what is this? Like, I pulled this off, and it's, the whole, this is your family crest.
Is this the first time he's seeing his family crest?
And he goes like this.
He's like, oh, that's what it looks like.
Right. He goes, this is what he goes. I don't know where we're from, man. We're hillbillies. We're from Tennessee. Right? I don't know if I'm English or whatever. Like, I'm Tennessee.
He's like, I'm just here for today, but thanks for the history lesson.
Yeah, or whatever he said he was from. But yeah, so that's the kind of that's the guy that like
he could pull the "Do you know who I am?"
Yes, any time he wanted to, but you'll never hear that come out of his mouth, and I love that. And that to me is the salt of the earth aspect of this industry too, because you're going to get guys like that.
Oh, they're there.
They're there. Yeah, for sure. 100%. But pound for pound, if you're walking the walk on the water, you know what I mean? There's a little down home in you somewhere.
I agree. Absolutely.
So take me through your first episode. Like, I want to hear like all your head, your mind going into it. Like, what are you thinking? Scott Levin was your first episode.
Did you listen to it?
So that's starting off with a good one.
Yeah.
Right. So take me through how that went for you.
Okay. You can tell by the smile on my face. Like, God.
Yeah.
And this is why I've gotten so into this podcast is I just like, when I think of that episode, I smile. So going into it, I'm like, God, I hope I can capture what I know that Scott has experienced in his life, and I can help people visualize this and actually paint this picture of him traveling around the world. So we brought on Scott Levin. He's now a broker with HMY, but when he was 20 years old, he got a job on the Madam and the Hooker, which is, everyone knows, the famous Captain Skip Smith, who I've actually worked for before in his tournaments. And he takes us on his travels around the world, how he got that job, though. And everyone's got to go listen, because you wouldn't believe how Scott got the job at 20 years old and how he just called up from a magazine ad for the charter and how it started to it's how it finished. And it would like blow your mind, because I'm just like, what? Like, I know that Scott's been around the world. I know this, and I'm focusing on making sure everyone can visualize, like, he talks about granders, multiple granders racing at his transom. Like, he's seen some of the most epic fishing, like, there's been of all time. So I'm just so engaged the whole time. So what am I thinking? I'm thinking, I already know some of these things, and I'm going to be more engaged. True, right? Yeah. And he's just so easy. You can't, by the way.
It's not possible.
I'm going to keep rolling with that. We're on a really great...
I'm totally breaking your train of thought there.
We're on a great roll. I'm just hoping that we keep going with that. So far it's been great. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
That I don't screw anything up. But I was leaned in, to a story alone, so I knew that everybody else would be. So just keeping him rolling with that. And then evolving into his life now, transitioning into being a broker. Like, I love that he said something that I relate to so much. And he was like, you go from being this well-respected fisherman. He holds 17 world records. He talks about it on the podcast. And he's like, and then you go into being a salesman. Like, you hear salesman and everyone's body's like, whoa, like you're trying to sell me something, And it's not like that. Like, these captains that have become brokers, and the reason this is a soft spot in my heart is that's my dad's transition. I grew up as a sport fishing captain's daughter and saw him behind, the wheel and being an incredible fisherman. He holds the record for the second largest black marlin ever caught in the world. He's obviously my favorite fisherman, but he did the same transition into becoming a yacht broker. And I watched him explain that to me, how he was received a little different in the beginning, going from, your captain buddy friend to like now a salesman. And they do trust you more than a normal salesman, but they feel like there is a switch. It takes a little bit of time. And then finally they're like, actually, you're a huge asset. Like, when I'm broke down out there, you're the guy I can call to actually like get this fixed and actually be like the whole package. They finally come around to like, you're actually a huge benefit and it's not a
empathy and understanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and I mean, I guess to draw a parallel to it, I can kind of relate to that because, you know, with painting fish and just doing apparel design and you know, whatever, I mean, to run the gamut of everything that we do here creatively. I mean, it's important to be a fisherman. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Not that I get out nearly as much as most of the other guys that we deal with because I'm here all
Right.
the time. You know what I mean? I'm not on the water every day. You know what I mean? I'm bringing guys on this show that I'll never fish like as much in my lifetime as they do in 1 year. You know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, or at least, you know, experience on the level that they do. So it's like, it's interesting, but to have that understanding of like knowing what type of riggers to put on the boat and
Mhm.
understanding how to read between the lines and understanding the way a fish actually will jump without just trying to recreate a photo and just like understanding the action and, you know, the lure or the way the bait would be taken or whatever. Like it's good to have that understanding about your job, to have that empathy of where your customer is coming from too. So to
Absolutely.
the point you're saying, that's why I want to bring that up.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it's the biggest compliment to you when an accomplished fisherman like looks at your work and is like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like you're talking about, like, that's real. Like,
Still blows me away.
isn't the best feeling probably?
Still blows
That's
me
what I would
away.
imagine would be your best
Yeah,
feeling.
and I could tell you the reason that it still blows me away is the reason that I just told you before. I'm like, when I have like, I mean, you know, Art Sapp comes on this show seems like
Legend.
every third episode or whatever. He's like, you know, one of the
That's
co-hosts.
because he keeps winning everything.
Right, exactly. Well, we do our tournament talk
Keep it going,
episode.
Art.
Yeah, we
You're
do our
killing it.
yeah, keep it going, that's for sure. But you know, when you know, just to hear some of the things that he has to say about my work, it's just reassuring to me, you know, because I paint it how I feel it, how I see it,
Mhm.
and that's all I can do. You know what I mean? And when I do get the confirmation back from guys on that level, it is kind of, you know, it is reassuring. It is helpful to hear that, and you know, it feels good.
For sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. If Art's out complimenting you,
Yeah.
you made it.
Right. Exactly. So that's cool. So you bring up an interesting thing, right? About how you were a captain's daughter
Mhm.
growing up. You grew up living a life that's connected by water,
Yes.
right? And you grew up in the Keys. You considered a conch? Is that how
Absolutely.
that goes? Right?
Yes.
What's the definition of that?
In my mind, I think of Key West when I think of a conch, and that's because like their high school was the conchs.
The conchs, yeah.
Like we were the Hurricanes. Like how fitting. Like,
Mhm.
So yes, we are conchs. So we're the Conch Republic, which is the full Keys. But I'm an Island Marata girl.
Island Marata girl.
Yep, that's hometown. That's, you know, that's my roots,
Mm-hmm.
and the most special place in my heart.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's my favorite of all the Keys.
Yeah.
You know, the Island Marata Tavernier kind of space. You know what I mean? I just absolutely adore it there. You can put me there any day of the week and I'll be fine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for sure. Over any other key. Now we grew up spending a lot of time in a Marathon.
Okay.
As well. My family would spend every summer down there, right near Vaca Cut,
Mhm.
like the Key Lime Resort. I don't know if you know
Yes.
where that is. And that's where we would kind of hang out and stay. And there's an old rundown joint where we thought it was a little piece of paradise. So, you know, we would be there every time. And yeah.
You just get off the stretch and like we talk about it still, and like something comes over your body and you're just like relaxed, and you just, your mind shuts off from work and you release, and you think that would wear off one day, whether you've lived there your whole life, and it just doesn't. And I was there this
Mhm.
weekend. So yesterday, you know, as you're going back over that bridge north, you're like, oh, back to the grind.
Yeah. Well, it's because you got to hit Miami first.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that gets in the way.
Right.
But
Absolutely. But yeah, so like when you text me Friday, I'm like sitting under a tiki hut. Like I'm just Island Marata chilling, like I'm with my friends, like back with
you
family.
were down when I texted you, you were down there?
Yeah, because our boat's down there. So
yeah, nice.
And we just scoot out and go fishing every time we can. You know, me, my dad, and my sister, our family break away whenever we can and head down south to Island Marata.
Yeah, I think the stretch really is a vortex.
Right?
It's got to be.
Yes.
Because I mean, it's funny. Even when last time you went down to the Keys, you know, we were texting each other. You were there, and you even made a comment to me like, "Yeah, you can."
As soon as you see the teal walls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely.
For
And
sure.
this is something. I mean, there's got to be obviously a psychological factor to it, but there's more to it than
We
that.
all feel it.
Yeah, there's more to it than that. Like it happens to everybody, and it's undeniable.
Yes.
So, take me through a little bit of that growing up like this. Right. I know now you like to hunt.
Yes.
Right? And
Love to
you
hunt.
ride horses.
Yes.
Which I hear you do that very well.
Oh.
I have yet to see you ride a horse, so I can't comment on it
No,
firsthand. But I hear that as far as horse riding goes, you're really, really good at that. So how did you get into that? Like just kind of give me a little bit of your background. I want the world to know about you. Like, cause I remember when the first time we hung out was at Papa's Raw Bar, right? And I walked away from that dinner going, man, that girl's really cool. You know what I mean? And that was like, and I was so happy to meet you that night. And I know we were there for like a business dinner.
It didn't feel like
but
it,
it
though.
didn't feel like it at all. And I'm like, and that's why I wanted to ask you on the show. I'm like, Lexie would be perfect to have on the show.
It was such a natural conversation with you guys. Like, I didn't feel like it was a business meeting at all. Like, we're just having normal talk. But so born and raised in the Florida Keys, we started at Ocean Reef. That's my dad had a private job out of Ocean Reef. So we actually lived there when I was really young. And then we moved down south into the Keys. My mom said that she had to get us out of the bubble of Ocean Reef.
Oh,
She's like, you're going to the real life.
Yeah.
Because
so you grew up in Ocean Reef?
Just for like 2 years of like pre-K and kindergarten.
Okay.
So what we did was we rode around in a golf cart and just went to Buccaneer Island. And like, you know, back in the day, I feel like this is a healthy thing. There was like no curriculum. You were just like went to go play and be a kid, especially in Ocean Reef.
That's how it should be.
Yes. So.
Oh my God. They're working these kids right now for no reason. Their brains aren't developed
I hear about
enough.
these things and I'm like the cost of getting kids in and like the competition. And I'll hear these side conversations that I can't relate to at all. And they're like, oh, like, what are you paying for kindergarten? And my head's like snapping around my shoulder. I'm like,
paying for blocks and
I'm like,
tic-tac-toe.
I'm like, that's terrifying. But I understand that everyone's just trying to do the best for their kids and, you know, get them into the safest and the best place for all that stuff. But I'm foreign to that because I am from the Keys. And, you know, the most confusing thing when I went to college was, oh, what high school did you go to? And it's like, there is one high school. There are no choices. I didn't know that it's like that other places, you know. We all are at the same place. And I love that. So growing up in the Keys is the most incredible, you know, gift my parents ever gave me. It absolutely shaped who I am. And we drive boats before we drive cars. Like, you don't look forward to your 16th birthday to get a car. You look forward to your 13th birthday to get your boater's license. And boys and girls are no different as far as like the girls got a boat when they turned 13 and the boys too, you know, like you didn't need like the guys to take you out. Like they were with you and like, you know, you had your friend group, but I'll never forget, like my dad fixed up a 17 Mako with me and we repowered it with a 150 Yamaha 4-stroke. It was right when the 4-stroke came out. I was pretty stoked about that.
So things got a little quieter for you.
Yes. Yeah. And we did it together. And, you know, as soon as I turned 13, I was off and that was very normal. All I needed was a ride to the boat ramp and I was like, see ya. And they knew where we always were and it's on the water. And we were either, you picked your friends up by boat. Everyone, you know, lives on a canal, pretty much all of us. So it was unbelievable. Like you don't know east and west. I'll tell you that's a problem.
Right.
When you get north, that was confusing. Yeah, we only know north and south. We when you ask somebody where they live, you say, what mile marker do you live at? It's like, you know, it's not neighborhoods.
Oceanside, Bayside. Yeah.
Right.
You know, the thing, when I lived in Sarasota, when I went to art school at Ringling, like I had the toughest time switching my mind because to me, growing up here, east is the beach. Right. So the beach is on the west side there. So I would always tell people like, oh yeah, we're going to go head out east. We're going to go, you know what I mean? I'm like, what are you talking about? To them, that's like I-75, like going inland.
Right.
You know, and it took me like a few months to get rid of that.
That's funny.
Yeah. To shake that off.
Yeah. But normal life for me was, you know, from before I could walk, you go to the dock and you wait for dad to come in from fishing. And that's what I lived for. And to see what he caught in tournaments, you know, we didn't have live scoring back then. So you didn't know who won until they got to the dock. That was really exciting for me and my sister. And, you know, I remember my mom telling us how many minutes until we could go and, you know, just being so excited and running down the dock and, you know, seeing dad pulling how many flags is he flying and, you know, who won and, you know, jumping on the boat. And it was incredible.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, the Keys is a special place, and just growing up there, I'm sure it was special too. I'm going to go for round 2 here. Speaking of 2. So I'm going to dip into the ice here. And you good? A little stiff for you?
Are you switching it up?
I think I might switch it up, actually. I'm going to go.
Are you going blonde?
I'm going to go blonde and ginger.
Oh man.
right? So that's what I'm going to do. So I know I'm passing you up here.
Jeez, I'm like, yeah, I
I
need
know,
to catch
you're
up.
like going slow.
They call it cheerleader beers when I drink White Claws on the boat when we fish.
Cheerleader beers?
Yeah, so like literally just now we're in the Keys. It was so funny. They're like come out back to the boat like in our island run house and they're like, got your cheerleader beers, and I'm
No.
like,
Are you a White Claw drinker?
clearly.
Clearly.
Yeah, but so I'm like, I just took a sip of that and I was like, oh, but it tastes so good. Maybe you transform me.
Oh look, I'm
Everyone
having a
needs
tough
it.
time.
Oh, you're back.
I'm
You're back.
back to my old ways here.
George, he's struggling now.
George is gonna be mad at me. It's like Dennis. So I have to listen to this. You want to hear something funny? Remember how during the questions that we had the thing where Liz said about him,
Right.
coming home drunk or
Right.
whatever like that. So I
Sending you home drunk.
texted George and Paul, right? And then a little sidebar here, just because everyone cares about this. I texted George and Paul, I'm like, hey, you guys going to come to the grand opening, right? And Paul didn't want to come. There's too many people here, which I completely understand from his perspective. He probably got mobbed if he came here. George couldn't make it. So he says, I'll be there in spirit, Dennis. And he says, tomorrow I'll be with the wife shopping for a new dinner table and related items. Right? It's a keep the home fires burning day. Plus, she says, you send me home drunk after each time I pay a visit. Best of luck tomorrow. George Poveromo.
You have been labeled.
I've been labeled. So
That means
I'm
that
guy.
you're like once a month. You're probably cut off to like once a month you can hang out with Dennis is probably the rule.
Yeah. You think that's strange?
No, I think it's fair.
You think it's fair?
Is it true?
Yes, it might be strange. You know what else is strange, though? Are strange questions that some people have texted you
Oh.
to ask on the show.
Oh, wow.
Here we are, our Papa's PILAR strange questions, John.
Here we go.
Our favorite part of the show.
Oh, man.
Okay. But I'm going to open up the blonde first.
Very appropriate before you ask a blonde strange
That's
questions.
right. So look at the timing. All right. And we are going to ask some strange questions. You can probably imagine who some of the people were.
Okay.
But
you should ask me, and then I'll guess who
you
asked
want
that
me to do
one.
that? You can do that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Blonde and ginger.
Let's see how well I know our friends.
All right. That's a unique thing. All right. We've never done that before in the show,
There
Lexie.
you go.
So we're going to do that
Innovative thinking.
now. All right. Lexie Creary, the conch. So I am going to
That
ask
has a nice
you.
ring to it.
It does.
Came up with that all on your own?
I'm being ridiculed now. Okay. All right. So this one says, and you have to guess who this one came from.
Okay.
All right. Wow, I text with this guy way too much. So
Scroll up.
there we go. What's the craziest thing you have ever had to do to sell a yacht?
Ooh, that's a good one.
By the way, if you need to buy a Viking, call Lexie.
Yes.
A little
Yes.
plug for you.
Yeah, let's put that there. So the reason he's asked me that is because I sell yachts for HMY. Diffuse an entire husband-wife like blowout.
Get out.
Yeah.
Details, please.
It's imperative clearly that husband and wife come together and make a joint decision.
Mhm.
Sometimes the woman drives the decision making. I would call that 99.9%. And then 0.01 every once in a while you find this straggler and he gets to make a decision himself.
Mhm.
And so yeah, total come to Jesus, like where he's selected this yacht and he's done it and we're all the way through survey and everything's great. And the wife like came out of nowhere at the end of the thing, was like very unaware of anything. And so
She was unaware that they were
Correct.
buying a Viking at all?
yeah, not a clue.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And
It's kind of something you should probably let her in.
yeah, I think that maybe in his defense, he was like, oh, let's see if the survey goes well. There's a lot of steps in our business,
I can imagine.
I I learned that it's very different from people always compare us to real estate. I'm like, oh no, after buying a house, I'm like, it's nothing. Like the home inspector came to my house. He was done in like an hour and I was like, come back here. I was like, surveys take like 9 hours. And they're always like, there's a scratch here, there's a dent here. And like in a house, it's like roof's good, windows are good. Like, like your water heater's good. Okay, have a great day. Great house. Good luck. And I'm like,
no mold, no termites, we're gone.
Okay. I'm like, that was way too fast. So answering your question. Yeah. He's like, so Lexie, and you can just tell his body language is different that day. It's just like, my wife just has some reservations. I'm like, absolutely. I'm like, let's talk about that. So he's like, will you talk to her? He put me full in. So I find out from talking to her that she didn't know anything about this. And I was like, hey, let's go to lunch. And I sit with her. I'd never met her before. And it was also probably one of my proudest moments. I wanted her to feel heard because you know what, if this wasn't good for both of them, like I'm going to stand behind that. And I would communicate to, they're both my clients at that point, but to the person originally talked to me that, hey, this might not be the right roof. Like, I don't really want to be in charge of your divorce here. So we talked it through and we ended up being best friends at the end of it. And we laugh about it all the time. Oh yeah.
You sealed the deal, just make the sale.
Well, I asked what's important to her and why she had the reservation she did. I told her my thoughts on the boat. If it was a good purchase, we talked about resale value. We talked about things that I think are important. I listened to her concerns. It's the best thing you can do is listen. People talk too much. They don't listen to clients. They don't listen to people. And we worked through it. And at the end of it, we cheersed. And I think the second I took it off the table and was like, this is like, okay, if this is not your time or if this is not your boat, that's okay.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I love the boat. And I was like, okay. And so, yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you add counselor to my, to my business card.
The funny thing is I always say, like, I've had a lot of experience dealing with salesmen, like professionally, mostly printer salesmen, like, people like that want to do printing for me. Cause I've been a professional creative or whatever you want to call me for 25 years. I don't know, a long time. I don't want to age myself. Long time. But over the years, like we used to have a weekly magazine and like all the different printing that we do both here and at old jobs that I've had. I've always had like salesmen always pitching me, like, hey, who does all your printing and everything?
Right.
Like that. People always trying to get
like roll as soon as they come at you.
I used to work for $1 billion corporation. That everyone wanted the amount of printing that we would do on a daily basis. I always said that a good salesman, right, becomes your friend, right? But the best salesman over time truly are your friend. And I really firmly believe that.
Yeah.
Like sales to me, like it's an art, but it's also, it's a life. You know what I mean? And you get with these people, like personally, and you relate with it. And it's not always easy. You know what I mean? So the fact that you're telling me the whole thing with, you had empathy for her and wanted to her to, that's awesome.
The reason I love my job.
That's impressive, Lexie Creary.
Thank you. Well, the reason I love my job so much is because I want people to experience what I did growing up and what I watch these really successful tournament teams do and things like that. And being able to connect those dots of like creating memories for their kids, creating memories for them, whatever it may be. That's the reason that they're buying a boat. To be able for them to they'll call you, in 2 months. Hey, we just had the most epic trip to the Bahamas. My 8-year-old son just caught his first blue marlin. I cried. You get that phone call.
Yeah.
He's like, the boat ran awesome. And you're just like, that's awesome. And that's what you're talking about. And that's your friend. Your friend's calling you just to tell you a fish story. And you're like, that's what it's all about.
That's great. It is what it's all about. You could be selling anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could be painting anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's great. All right. Good.
All right, hit me with the next one.
Who asked that question?
I was going to say.
Did you see my phone?
No, I was going to say Harris, but maybe Jay.
It is Harris.
Okay. First one. 1 for 1.
1 for 1. Batting 1,000. All right. Let's see if I can find the next. Now, nothing for nothing. We have 3 people asking you questions today. You're probably going to guess through all 3 of them, Mark.
Okay.
All right. So let's go to the next one. All right. We are in our Papa's PILAR Strange Questions. And I'm not going to ask you that one first. I'm going to ask you this one second. Because if I ask you that one first, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
All right. Who caught more fish at the Fish for Holly tournament? You or your dad?
Ouch. Gosh. Not only did my dad catch more fish than me, he caught them in my spread.
What?
Like off my left long. And I was like...
Off your left long?
Literally.
So you just grabbed it off your trident?
No. Like he's encroaching in our spread on my dad's boat. Fish for Holly is a very, very special tournament to me, in memory of my best friend growing up. And so
I'm glad you segued into that because I do want to talk about that tournament. So
yes, we have to explain how amazing that thing is.
Yeah.
So it's the best day on the water. You channel Holly and you feel her on the water. It's a great feeling. Anyway, so I fished against my dad because I'm going with all my friends, our group of close friends, and we're raging and having a great time, and Dunkaroos are going on, and we're not catching anything. And
you're sticking your head in
I
the
don't
bucket?
realize that. Yeah, and I don't ever do that. I don't ever do Dunkaroo.
Did you do it though?
Yes, I only do it. I do it one time a year, and it's for Holly.
All right, good.
Yeah,
I like it.
I take fishing like really, really serious. So normally when I fish, that's just for her. My Holly girl, that's it. But so yeah, I guess having my head in a bucket didn't help. That's probably why my dad beat me. But he's behind me, and I don't know because we're all rigger to rigger. We got 66 boats fishing this tournament, and I hear on the radio Chasing Sails, my dad's boat, hooked up to a double. This goes instantly puts them into third place if they if they catch it. And I look at the tower and I'm like, James, where's my dad? And he goes, Lexie, turn around. And I'm like, and there's my dad literally like 20 yards behind our like long bait, and he's just swirling all around us. I'm watching his fish jump. He's got one fish over here jumping, one fish over here. They only had 2 anglers. They went 2 for 2 in that one shot right there. And I'm watching this, and you think I'd be like, yeah, Dad. And I was like, eye rolls so hard. Yeah. And I'm like, you didn't even do a Dunkaroo like in your lifetime.
You didn't even do a Dunkaroo.
That's how we get bites. Like, come on. So that was a really funny moment. My dad whooped my butt in that tournament, but I was really happy for him. It means a lot to him to fish that tournament. But yeah, not only did he kick my butt, he kicked it in my spread.
Yeah, nice. So it's funny. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen, was it Rocky 1 or Rocky 2? I don't know. You ever seen the Rocky movies?
Yes.
You ever watch them? Right. So it's Apollo Creed once said that to Rocky before they were going to spar. Right. And he goes, oh yeah, he goes, I may have taught you everything you know, but I didn't teach you everything that I know. Like
total moment right there.
Right.
Like he kept some secrets in his pocket. Yeah. And he was really sad that I wasn't fishing with him. So he looked at me like at the end of the day.
Why didn't you fish with him?
Because I want to be with my girlfriends that were best friends with Holly. So
that's a good answer.
Yeah.
It's a good answer. All right. So I have another question from this person.
Okay. I'm
not even going to give you the gender. So who do you think this is, by the way? You could say this at any time.
I was going to say Jay, but when you just said gender, now I'm thinking it's a girl.
It's totally Jay.
Oh, okay. 2 for 2.
Totally Jay. And I didn't even give you like the one that would give it away, which would be what's the funniest conversation that you ever had with a physician while recruiting them? But that's the other Jay question that was going to give it away that it was Jay. But Jay Mays.
Okay. So Jay Mays was my previous boss, and I used to recruit doctors for him. And what was the question? The most interesting conversation I've had with a doctor?
What's the funniest conversation you ever had with a physician while recruiting them?
Why didn't you show up for work when I sent you states away and I have a hospital calling me wondering where you are?
States away?
Yes. So the work that we did was it's locum tenens work. So these doctors, internal medicine doctors, sometimes work 1 week on, 1 week off. And their week off, they'll take these jobs with us to get extra work, and we'll send them to short-staffed hospitals. Well, this was in upstate New York. It's like dumping snow. I don't know anything about upstate New York, by the way.
It's like
Keys
Southern
girl.
Canada. Like Jenny's from Rochester. We always just say she's really just Canadian.
So she knows what a winter's like there. Clearly, it's a lot of snow, but I don't understand what it's like to drive through that. People would
want to live like that. I don't know.
I think we're biased.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, clearly.
It's not human.
Yeah. So my best conversation was Jay's like runs up to me in the morning. He's like, Dr. O'Lakin, like literally, I will never forget his name. He's like, isn't at work. Why? And I'm like, what? And we fly these guys in, like we pay for their travel. Like this is a very extensive thing. It's not just like some guy didn't wake up on time and walk down the road to the hospital. And he's like, oh yeah, I decided against that. Like he just like was like no apologies, like didn't even bat an eye. And I just like had to tell Jay, and I was like, he didn't go because he didn't want to, and I don't know what to do with that. So this is where we're at.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Doctors are funny people.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a lot of nurses in our family, and I hear some weird stories.
Oh yeah, I used to work in the operating room in medical sales, so I've been
Really?
through it. Yeah.
I don't know. All right, so we're gonna move along, and we have our last person asking questions, which really kind of took this to another level, and just started beaming off a bunch of questions, like one after another. So I'm just gonna see which ones I want.
They got really excited, huh?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the first one was, what's your favorite motto to live by?
Life is short and the world is wide.
Life is short and the world is wide.
That means book the trip.
That's right. And no matter where we are, we're always connected by water.
Yes.
Right.
Book the fishing trip
Book
specifically.
Book the fishing trip. I like it.
Like, don't even question it. Don't think about anything else. Just go.
Okay. And here's the fun one. If you could be any animal, what would you be?
This is so funny that you just asked me this, because when we were in the Keys this weekend, we're with this girl that works for us in HMY, Riley. She's the funniest person I've ever met. Like, you know, just those belly laughs. Like, I couldn't.
That's the young girl that wears glasses?
Yes.
And she just got engaged.
Yes. Congratulations, Riley.
I saw that on Instagram. Congratulations, Riley.
Oh, and they are the cutest, most like meant for each other couple.
Yeah,
like,
that's awesome.
They're going to be a love that lasts forever. So I'm very happy for them. And so I brought her down to the Keys with me to fish and hang out this weekend. And she's sitting out back, and we're all just chilling, and just like good vibes, you know? And gets a quiet moment, and she's been saying funny things all day that I'm just like, I can't. Like, I've never heard my dad laugh so much in a day, like from this girl. She's just like hilarious. So she goes, we're sitting there, and she's just like looking around. She's like, so guys, if you could be any animal in the world, what would you be? And I was like, I go, are you looking at an app on your phone, like what to do when you're bored? Like what questions to ask when you're bored? And she goes, no, I was just sitting here like thinking about it. She's dead serious. I'm like,
deeply thinking about this.
And then the funny part is, you think everyone would dismiss it. Everyone, you could tell, got in like a really like thought-provoking moment, and like she really had captured everyone's attention. And then she went on to ask us like our superpowers, and it got weirder and weirder. So
your superpowers.
Yeah, like she was like, what would be your superpower?
Okay.
That was her next one, and then it just continued to get weirder.
So I'm going to have to find out what the bolt-on superpower is to your animal.
Right. There you go. That's a good way to merge those.
Yeah.
For the animal, I don't want to repeat my answer from this weekend because it was lame, and we really were all stumped. I would say lion.
All right.
Lion.
All right. And what's the lioness's superpower?
So that wasn't her question. So you really got me here, because she was saying two separate, like if you could have a superpower, but wow.
So if you can add,
I'm like picturing now like a flying lion. I'm like
flying lion.
Yeah. I'm like,
I like that. The flying lion.
I'm like, wow.
All right.
That's a terrifying thought.
Yeah, that is actually a terrifying thought. Imagine that if lions could fly, we'd all be.
That just got weird. So you just took strange questions to a whole nother level.
They're strange. And this is great, because this is exactly what this is meant to be.
Yep.
Like, this is our biggest complaint.
Nobody asks strange questions. Yeah. They're all straight.
Did we get strange enough? People let us know if we got strange enough today.
Right. And they're all, everyone
lions.
always asks, oh, you know, what's your favorite fish that you've ever caught? And like things like this. And it's like, let's get strange.
Yeah.
So that's good. Let it be known throughout the land that you want to be a flying lion.
I had some cheerleader beers when she asked me. So I said dolphin, and she looked over at me, and I was like, you ever seen an angry dolphin? I was like, they're always like smiling basically. And she's like, everyone like burst out laughing. And then,
except for One Crazy Summer. You know that one?
Yes. And I didn't think of that. So now you just ruined it for me.
Sorry.
And then I was like, I don't know, dolphins can be weird, but yeah, that was my answer. So it was pretty lame.
All right. And
you're already laughing.
Well, because I just realized I just read the follow-up question.
I feel like I should pour another drink for this. Go ahead.
I think you should. No. We'll pour another drink, but the follow-up question is, if you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Riley's 2 steps ahead of you.
Right. So, well, that's not Riley asking the question.
I'm just saying you should really have her submit to you. I'm going to tell her, like, you really need to get on the Papa's PILAR Strange Questions.
I met Riley for the first time at the Jimmy Johnson. Right. She was given the responsibility of walking around the gifting to get
Right.
and everything like that. So that was the first time I met her. And
Is this what we were working with?
This is the Marquesas.
Okay.
You want to keep going with the same one?
It was delicious.
All right. It is delicious.
Don't ruin a good thing.
And then hold on. I'll get you more ice.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Great service here.
Oh, thank you very much.
I got these beautiful paintings to look at. Someone's making me a drink.
Yep. That's it.
Talking about fishing.
That's what I told you. We're going to be here for the next 5 hours.
I love it.
So
I'll just pick up all the ice you spilled. Is this table clean? Who cares?
They cleaned it, yeah.
Rum
it is clean.
disinfects anything,
It'll
right?
kill anything.
That's just what we tell each other.
Nicole cleaned it off for you. So
she's the best.
Did you like Nicole? Isn't she awesome?
Yes.
She caught that redfish this weekend down there in Flamingo.
Well, I just feel like we bonded so much the second I figured out we had the same necklace on. That was super cool.
Nicole's another one that grew up living a life that's connected by water. That's for sure. You know, and I say that because that is a certain way to grow up. You know what I mean? Just
you're surrounded by amazing women in your team for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. From top to bottom, that is very true. I'm glad you brought that up because this is like this is National Women's Awareness Month or day or recently happened or something like that.
Okay.
Sure, right? Whatever.
I don't mean that derogatory. I just meant I don't know about it, so okay.
The person that that gave these questions made a big deal to post up about you starting your podcast.
You're right.
So now you probably just guessed who asked those questions.
Yes, you're right.
So who asked the questions?
Carmela.
Carmela did. And thank you very much, Carmela,
yes.
for your questions. So you need to pick a winner of who wins the Connected by Water podcast t-shirt for asking the best question. And I really think there's only one answer there, else you're probably never going to live it down.
Oh, who can get? I can pick anybody. I thought you were going to give me like a basket. It was going to come out with a bunch of names in it.
You got to pick the winner.
I thought that was like some raffle thing.
No.
It can be like anybody I know. Or...
No, one of who asked the questions. Who asked the best question?
The best question, yeah.
Oh, best question.
But I think
she was the superpowers one.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Carmela wins.
All right, Carmela.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you don't pick Carmela, you're probably never going to hear the end of that.
Right. No, so, Carmela all day. Yeah. She's a huge supporter of everybody. I love
Carmela, by the way. I really do.
She's the greatest.
She's awesome. Like, she's so much fun.
She started out as a broker's assistant and a closing agent. So I knew her working alongside my dad. So she was like a second mom to me. I would be in the office.
Oh, really?
You know, whenever my dad had to go to the office, it's in Fort Lauderdale. We live in the Keys. My dad did that commute because it's not, you don't have to be in the office every day. And, you know, when I was there, it was bring your kid to work day a lot for us, apparently. And I was so excited about it. And I just got to spend a lot of time with Carmela all the way from a young age to growing up. And I have the utmost respect for her and really happy she's on our team at HMY.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. I'm happy she's on your team at HMY.
Yeah.
Too.
Now we're all on a team because you're killing it with our total, like, I just love the full circle.
I'm having so much fun with HMY. You have no idea.
I know. And I'm so glad that it happened.
Yeah, I am too. And thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And no, it's like all the stuff that we're doing with HMY. I mean, it's such a great group.
You're a part of the family.
Really. I mean, I just love everybody there. You know, and we're just doing great stuff together. And I think everyone's just got the right mindset of working hard, play hard kind of thing. And that's it. So,
good vibes all around.
Yeah. 100%. So bringing you in on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One thing I really wanted to know, we kind of touched on some things about you. All right. But I really want people to understand more about you. All right. Now, we're not just bringing you on to talk about your new podcast, and we're not just bringing you on to talk about HMY and all the different things. You know, we got a boat show coming up, by the way, this week.
That's right.
Hope to see you all there. Hope to see you all at the HMY Pavilion.
Yes,
or whatever
come
they call
see
it,
me.
Right. Come see Lexie. But I don't want to bring people on bring you on just to be like, let people know. Okay, yeah, all right. You have a new podcast. It's like, all right, cool. All right, buy a Viking from Lexie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just, that's not what it's all about, because I really want to get a little bit beneath it at all and let people kind of understand, like, you're the real deal. And that's the truth. Okay. And that's really the biggest reason I wanted to bring you on. And honestly, I probably should have started the show out this way, like 100%, because you're being a little humble here today. All right. So listen, you can outfish all of them. You can probably outhunt all of them. All right. So when I asked you, like, oh, you take me through, like, living that life by connected by water and, and the whole thing like that. But like the reality is, it's like this is in your DNA. Okay. The whole entire life and just the whole aspect of everything, the foundation that your dad laid into you and who you are. And you're still very young in my eyes. Right. So,
Yeah, keep saying that. It feels
right?
good. As you approach 30, I need to keep hearing that.
No, yeah, but that's the thing. It's like you're young.
Yes.
Okay. But even so, you have so much experience behind you, like more than most people that your age have. And I really do. I don't just believe that. I know that. Right. So give me your deepest thoughts on how you feel about growing up this way and living the life that you live, just completely being, and I'm going to call you outdoorsman. Okay. I'm not going to be outdoors woman or whatever.
No, I love that.
You're an outdoorsman. Okay. And give me your thoughts on what that means to you. Take your time. I know it's a loaded question.
Grateful is the first word that came to mind. I'm very aware that I've been given opportunities to fish with the best of the best at a very young age. And as I've gotten older and I reflect on those moments. So, for example, I was 15 years old fishing on the Viking demo boat in the World Sailfish Championship, which paid out $100,000 dailies. Back then, that was the most expensive tournament, that there was, opposed to, like, obviously there's White Marlin Open. We're talking about what was hot in those days and the biggest tournament that everyone looked forward to. And it was the biggest cow cut. And, the first time I saw somebody walk down the dock with a duffel bag of 50 grand in cash, I was 15 years old. That's a big deal. And it was just fishing to me, it was jumping on. It was what I did every day. But there were moments that I stood back and I was like, wow, so we won a daily. And that was the first moment that I stood back and said, whoa, like this is something very special. Like this is different. And I'm so grateful to be here and to be a part of this Viking family and to be a part of, these tournaments, and I think I have more of appreciation for it now. And then we went on and won money in the Miami Billfish, and we had a wild run with Higgins as the captain on the Viking 50 demo. So those memories, and then jumping on, it humbles me and it shapes me into being a better businesswoman. It shapes me into being a better person, and just makes me grateful, and it makes me like just hungry. Like I want to do it all. I want to be the most successful yacht broker. I want to be the most successful female yacht broker, but I don't really dive into those categories. I just want to like go to the top, and I don't know, it just makes you want more.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Harris asked you an interesting question one night when we were at the dinner. He goes, what do you love more, hunting or fishing?
Yeah, I would you should add that to a question if someone has something other hobby. Cause you think that doesn't sound like a big question.
You seem very stumped when he asked you that though. You're like, wow. You're like, wait a minute. I don't know. So
to set the stage, we're at a big Christmas party at my house that Dennis didn't show up to, just so everyone knows. Just want to call him out on that.
All right. Hold on.
I can't believe you opened that. You just walked right into that.
Wow.
You lobbed the softball.
Wow, I did. I'm sorry.
It was a great party and we missed you a lot.
Yeah, I know. I didn't go.
So awesome Christmas party, housewarming party.
There was a good reason, but I'm not going to get into right now. But
we forgive you. But next one you better be at.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sitting there with Jay and Harris and our whole group, and he's just looks over and we're all chit chat about nothing. And he's like, Lexie, if you could do one thing for the rest of your life, would it be hunting or fishing? And I was just like, what? Someone making me choose right now? Yeah. I was holding on to the table. I was like, more wine, please.
Yeah.
He's like, and I said, dang, I was like, he like took one away. Like he was like, if you ever could. And I was like,
Right.
I said fishing. And I was like, fishing. I was like, because the water brings me so much peace and looking around, like, and so does the woods. But, and I think that he was right. He was talking about like buck fever.
Right.
I don't understand people that say that buck fever goes away. Like that does not go away for me. Like I start shaking, like that 12-point walks out. Like I'm never going to get used to that. I don't know how people get used to that. I'm always going to have an appreciation for that animal. Like that, you know, that you can harvest that you've spent all year. And, you know, I don't hunt on high fence property. I hunt, you know, these deer can go anywhere. And the fact that you have, you know, managed to land and kept them there and harvest this animal and for the right reasons. So I agree with him on the whole buck fever thing, but the water just, it's the ambiance. Because what I said to him was, a bad day of fishing, like you don't catch anything, like you still have that ride out. I have like a lot of reflection when I ride out. I really do. Like I look around, it really clears my mind. Sometimes it helps me get through deals in my head. Like I'll think about work sometimes and in a good way, you know, you work some things out, you know, while you're at the rocket launcher and looking back. But hunting, you have a lot of quiet time in the woods, but like if nothing comes out, you're like, cool trees. cool. But no, obviously it's really cold. I hunt in Alabama, so it's really cold. And that's the other reason why I think I chose fishing, is because I don't do cold well. I don't do cold well at all. I really don't. It's not good for my attitude. I'm just like, I just don't listen. What is today? Like 70 degrees? Yeah. And I'm like full jeans and a long sleeve. Oh, yeah. And I'm like ready. I'm like, oh, this is like, I saw a thing on the Weather Channel app that the weather's warming up. Like it's going to get hot this week. And I was like, all right, cool. Finally, we're out of this. Yeah, I hear you. The only thing I get excited about, I'm like, this horrible. I like the front. I'm like, oh, sails are going to bite. But then I'm like, yeah, but that means I have to. That's the one good thing about it, right? Yeah. Yep. For sure. Silver lining. That's all you got to channel in your mind when I'm like, you like get the fear, like, oh, cold weather. And then you're like, oh, sails are going to chew. See, I don't hunt, right? And that's not by choice. It's just really by opportunity. And I've gator hunted before and, you know, successfully, and everything's cool. You know what I mean? I want to hunt, but it's just been one of those things for me that, you know, my father was not a hunter, and that matters a lot. I think that if your parents are, then you're brought that way. So he was more of a fisherman. That's why I kind of grew up more like an angler. But I want to, and I will, and I keep telling Harris, I'm like, bring me with you. You know what I mean? Another thing like that. So I can't really say for the hunting versus fishing thing personally. But all I can say is that I'd love to go hunting with you. That sounds like a great experience. So I would love. Yeah. I've gotten into sharing these experiences with other people and seeing it from the other side. You know, when you do everything for the first few times, you know, you want to accomplish those goals. But I've started to like really take pride in like catching other people their first sailfish and leading their sailfish. And like I take my friends out, and I take so much pride in seeing them have that moment. You realize that you're, you know, transitioning in that sport when you have an appreciation for watching other people do that too and being on the other side of it. Yeah. And funny thing about the podcast is I made a big decision to bring my dad on because he's... Oh, you did? Yeah. Last so are episode. You scheduling them out now? So I've done 6 episodes. Obviously, we just launched number 1, but we recorded 6. Okay. We will air tomorrow. We have Tom Carroll Jr., who is the president of Princess Yachts America. And HMY is one of the exclusive dealers of Princess Yachts. That's our motor yacht line. It's incredible. It's a sister company of Viking Yachts. They're built unbelievable. They're fast. They'll blow your mind. It's incredible. And they're built in Plymouth, England. Princess Yachts is also affiliated with LVMH, the luxury conglomerate group. And that's extremely fascinating to me to be backed by that. 1,000%. Yeah. So I am on the Princess Yachts sales team. I have absolutely specialized in motor yachts because I had the background of sport fishing. And I did that. And it's absolutely a boys club, which is fine. Like, I love being one of the boys. Like, it's never been an issue for me. Like, I can jump right in, talk the talk, walk the walk. It's fine. But motor yachts, I really found a niche in, and I really enjoyed the conversations of helping people with like entertainment and like with the wives with like design and all that stuff. I've really grown to love it. And it was something I had a lot to learn. And I didn't grow up on motor yachts and doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I love what I learned. But the cool thing about Tom's episode,
Definitely a different genre.
yes,
Yeah.
whole different client base.
Yeah.
First time I ever had like a big showing on a motor yacht. Like I had my first like big wig come in that I was like really need to prep for. I take everything really seriously. Went home, studied everything. Naturally, as Lexie Creary is a sport fishing captain's daughter, I'm studying fuel burn, I'm studying cruise, like top out, I'm studying like this power to the MANs, and I'm studying all these things. That's just my go-to when I think of boats. And I got there, and I'll never forget it. He's like, walks on, I'm like, and I start, I'm like, so, you know, you have this. I start giving him the stats, and he like looked at me like so confused, and he's like, you can go talk to my captain about this. Like, how many staterooms are there?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like the concern is very different because they are entertaining, and that's they're traveling and entertaining. And I had to learn to transition into that. You will communicate a lot of that to the captain and not to the owner. The owner is looking at how many people, how many of my family, you know, can I bring here and do that thing. So that was a good learning lesson for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. I have to take a step back from the commentary that you just made, because like it's really great that you think of all those things and that you actually even just understand all that. And I'm not saying that from a woman's perspective. I'm saying that from someone that's in their mid-20s and has just the cognizance to just think on that level in that way when talking about multi-million-dollar vessels. So kudos to you.
Thank you
on that one. Yeah, for sure. That's impressive. So, all right. So you're scheduling out all these episodes.
Yeah. So Tom's going to come on. You'll hear Tom tomorrow.
Okay.
And it's really exciting because what it is it's walking in the shoes of a 42-year-old young man who has climbed his way to the top to be the president of Princess Yachts America.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about that CEO mindset. How'd you get there? And how do you run a company that pumps out 300 boats a year? 300 boats a year, as Princess Yachts does, and we are the American distributor. And so it's an incredible accomplishment. I look up to him. I'm on his sales team. That's where you'll find me at the boat shows. I will be in the Princess Yachts display. I put all my time there because I'm a lucky member to be on that. It's something that you have to be appointed to, and I'm very grateful to be there. And I work with clients. And outside of that, you know, when they come, I have my sportfish clients that have appointments with me. I step away and I go to look at other things, but that's where I am, meet new clients. But he's amazing. And
congratulations.
Yes. I hope this is a good luck thing too for Palm Beach Road Show.
Good luck. Yeah, good luck. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
How was it interviewing your dad?
Oh my God. Amazing. I was actually really nervous because I was
explain to the people watching like who your father is, in case not everybody knows.
Oh, so, okay.
So I don't think we actually
great point
did that. So
my father is Jeff Creary. He started as HMY's first company captain back in like 1987, and we were a Post and Davis dealer. And he ran a boat called the Bandit, which was HMY's demo boat back in the day. And he fished the tournaments exactly like what we're doing with the 54 Viking today. And gained, you know, a lot of exposure to the boat. And then he transitioned into being a broker when he had children. And I told him it's because he had 2 girls and they're probably expensive. No, but he was a very accomplished fisherman. And he's my best friend. He's got a work ethic I've never seen in anybody else. He has more patience than anyone I've ever seen. He's obviously I'm in awe of him. He's my best hunting partner, my best fishing buddy, like my best friend. But who he is, he's been a broker now for, I want to say, over 25 to 30 years almost. He's the longest standing employee of HMY Yacht Sales. And more importantly, he's the one that taught me to listen. He's the one that taught me how to create the relationship you talked about of becoming a friend of your client. I don't know any of his clients that aren't his good friends. They don't always talk about buying and selling boats. They're talking about their kids. They're talking about what they're doing that weekend. You know, that's what I love about him and what he taught me and what he instilled in me. So I wanted everyone to hear from Jeff Creary, and we put him in a table with 2 girls and him because I wanted I almost said older perspective. Sorry, Dad. I wanted the perspective of
Seasoned
sport
perspective.
fishing from the 80s compared to how like these women entered it. I had Jen Copeland, who's the senior
I just
editor.
fished with Jen.
Nice. Oh, Singularis,
on
right?
Singularis, yeah. I just
Yeah.
fished with her for the Jimmy Johnson.
You got to bring her on here.
I'm actually going to fish with her again for the final sale.
She's your girl. Like, people need to hear from her more. She's
Yeah.
awesome. She was like an aunt
I
growing up
should
to
bring
me.
Jen on the show.
Jen is perfect. Like,
that
people
would
gotta
be
know.
great to bring her on.
So Jen, for people that don't know,
She outfished everyone on that boat. That day.
yeah, and
Yeah.
not only is she a great angler, she's she ran the 50 Viking,
Mhm.
so she's a sport fishing captain,
Yep.
a female sport fishing captain, but she's incredible. She's awesome. So I sat him down at the table with them, and how did it go? It went great, and he gave like the old school perspective. They gave the new school perspective, and we got to hear from like girls version, guys version. Like, it was just an awesome conversation. But I wasn't ready for all the stories he told on me.
Told on you?
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that.
No.
He threw me for a loop, like wild card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to give me one.
He told on me. He said, it was senior year of high school, and I was already into college. So I went to the University of Florida, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm already in college. Like, you get a different mindset. That last part of your senior year, you're like, I'm out of here.
Right.
And I was like, hey, Dad, it's a Poor Girls tournament. Poor Girls tournament is always on a Wednesday. It's a tournament in Islamorada. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to go fish with Annie and her dad on the Yabba. And I didn't think anything of it. Asked me, he's like, no. And I was like, what? I was like, no. Huh? He's like, it's a school day. And my dad's always pro fishing. Like, he's like, yeah, I understand.
Right.
Cool, Dad. And he's like, no, what am I going to tell the attendance lady, Lexie, like that you're sick? And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what you're going to tell her.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like,
Come on, Dad.
I'm sick. Clearly.
This is what we do. This is what we do.
I'm clearly sick. And he goes, no, Lexie, this is what's going to happen. And he goes, you're going to win the tournament. You're going to be on the front page of the paper. And I'm going to have to look like the attendance lady in the face. Like, when I see her next to, small community, like you see her at like Publix or Winn-Dixie, that's like how our lives are. I was like, Dad, we're not going to win. And it's just a fun day fishing. And he's like, all right. So of course that was game on. And I was like, cool. So I went fishing. We won the whole thing. I won Master Angler, front page of the paper.
Look at you.
And I was like came in the house like with my like big thing like you told me so.
What? Listen, no offense to your father. Respect him to nothing, but you were right.
100%.
You know what?
Parents know best. Like,
you won school.
Yeah.
That day. Does anyone ever remember what happened in school that day?
Right. Like, I was in college. Like,
come on.
It wasn't like my grades were good. I went to UF. Go Gators. Oh. Are those fighting words?
No. Yeah, but no.
They are.
It's okay. It's okay.
What's your team?
It's okay. No, I want to talk about it.
Isn't it UM?
No. But so listen, we don't have to talk about it because listen, I'd like you very much, Lexie.
Oh,
okay?
I don't want to change that.
No, I don't want that to get in the way.
Okay.
Things that we got going on here.
Okay.
It's cool. You know what I mean? It's a good vibe. And
if you gave me your team, I would have been like, did I say UF? I meant, I would have said that.
No, it's good. It's all right, go Knowles. It's cool, though.
Both my parents went to Florida State.
Did they really?
And I grew up a hardcore Florida State fan. Bet you weren't ready for that.
You grew up a Florida State fan? And you went to UF?
I did.
And it was sorry. So when did you mentally switch? Was it like your
My
sophomore year?
My sister went.
Your sister went.
And
it's always them.
I was like, yes. And my sister didn't think I was cool enough to hang out with. She's obviously older. And, you're trying to hang out with your older sister. She's the senior, you're the freshman. And I'm like, oh, Misty, like, hang out with me. She's like, get lost, freshman. And I'm like, dang. All right. So
you were there, she was there, you were there at the same time?
High school, obviously.
Okay.
And then she went to UF.
All right.
And I was still diehard Seminole. Junior year came, applying. I went early decision, Florida State. I had no doubts in my mind. I only had my eyes set on Florida State. I applied to other schools just because I had no intentions on going there. I just wanted to know that my hard work paid off and that I, know where you're at. So I said, I'm going to apply to UF just to tell you that I got in, and then I chose Florida State. That's what I said to my sister. Talk about eating your words, right? And she's like, fine, that's okay. Like, do whatever you want. And I'm like, okay. So
She shamed you into becoming a gator.
she tricked
She
me.
shamed you.
She used Tebow.
She shamed.
It was a bad football year for us. When I say us, back the old me, the Florida State me.
Yeah.
It was bad time for us. We were in a rut at Florida State, and I was holding true. And I don't jump. I don't like people that jump teams. I don't like it. But what happened was, oh gosh, I'm gonna redeem myself. I swear.
Listen. I'm sorry.
Am I doing more damage?
Nothing for nothing. You look like a Tallahassee girl on me. You do.
Don't make me respond to that.
All right. I'm sorry, and it's a good thing.
Florida State girls are. It was a female school, so I don't. Yeah, I don't want to say what I'm thinking. No, I'm gonna just.
All right, so Tebow got you there.
So
right?
I get into. You find out from Florida State way before Florida. You find out around like November. Florida State. Valentine's Day is Florida, by the way. Like pivotal moment in like high schoolers' life. Like, why are you gonna crush them on Valentine's Day? Like fragile little teenagers. Why would you do that? Like, I remember girls like crying in the hallway. I'm like, did your boyfriend break up with you? They're like, I didn't get a new F. I was like, yikes, why do we do this on this day?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think that's kind of cruel. Got in, going to Florida State, went and picked out my apartment, went, tried out for the cheerleading team, made the cheerleading team. Like, my dad's like high on life. He's like, we're on to Florida State, finally. And then my sister's like, oh God. He's out.
Lexie.
I'm telling you how much I love your school.
You're everything we're supposed to be.
I'm telling you how much I feel what you feel. It's there. God. So my sister, who never wanted to hang out with me in high school, was like, if she finds something in UF, I opened the UF letter. I was like, I knew I could do it. And I was like, and I'm still going to Florida State. And I like called my sister. And I was like, I did it. I was like, sayonara, come visit me in Tally. And she's like, I'm so proud of you. Just come up and visit me. I want to celebrate you. And I was like, this is great. What'd she do? We were terrible at football those years. It's bad timing. This was 2010. Okay. So
I remember it well.
Right? Yeah. Dark times. Okay. Yeah. And I stuck through it. And I went up there, and it's the Tebow era. Come on, he's like the Holy Grail. And he's there, and so I'm in the stadium, and like here's like the Florida State.
I will give you that with the Tebow thing.
I'm like all patty, like, ew, I'm in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, and Tebow is just going off, and he's just balling, and
jump
I'm like,
pass after jump pass.
I'm just looking at this, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. I'm like trying to feel this.
John?
It just happened. Anyway, she like made the whole weekend amazing, and she looked at me at the end, and she's like, we could have this. I'd be a senior. You'd be a freshman. Like Lexie, like she was like, we could have the senior freshman thing. Like we could redo high school. Like you'll come to everything with me. Like we can do this together. Like how amazing would that be? Like, my God, the worst thing my parents ever did was send her to debate school at Duke when she was in high school. We never won an argument after that. She's very persuasive. So yep, that's the end of that. And I went to UF, and I don't hate the Seminoles at all.
Gee, thanks for coming on the podcast today, Lexie.
And that's a wrap.
Let me tell you. No, that's a good story.
I love Florida State. But I guess I love my family more.
Cheers. All right. What could have been? It's all right. Listen. I still love you.
Okay? I appreciate you accepting me for that.
Yeah. All right. It's all good. So we're going to end it on that.
I was like, oh, no.
I'm kidding.
Never getting invited back.
No. Yeah, right. Whatever. Come on, stop it. Solid stuff.
Yep.
All right. So this is what we're going to do. All right. We're going to say, go listen to your podcast. Where can people find it?
We are on Spotify, Apple, and we are also on HMY's website. So
you know what the funny thing is I know for a fact that once you said we're on Apple, John cringed.
We're still not on Apple.
Ooh.
Right? Because whatever.
Why?
This is what because this is all right. Here's the thing.
It was the artwork. We're waiting on
He's
artwork.
waiting on me. Right. And I'm taking care of my good
the
customers like
got
HMY.
the artwork. Right? Yeah. Can we talk about your 54 shirt?
Yeah. Go ahead. Talk about it. Yeah.
So
go ahead. Talk about it.
Yeah. I would love to brag on you. I just was so blown away. Like, we get we get boat artwork all the time. We get this, but we challenged, you with the fact that we had the 54 coming out. 54. Everyone didn't know yet that was going to be the demo boat. We hadn't done a demo boat program in a while. And I don't know if you knew like how much hype, like obviously we were excited with you, but like, I don't know if you knew what it meant for the company in general, just how excited we were to get into every tournament and really like go all in. So I remember being in the room and we already had, Dennis Friel Connected by Water shirts teaming up with HMY, but we started like ideas flying, like, let's do a 54 shirt. Like we needed just the 54 demo, like just that boat. And we had like nothing to send you. I was like, we don't even have like, cause like the tower wasn't even on the boat. So like, how do we send you, a running shot of the boat that you can work with? And like, you guys just like absolutely made it happen. And when that shirt came out and like, it's like the best of everything, the best material, the best graphic, like everybody when I wear is like, how can I get one? And it's a little exclusive. Like don't get me wrong. Like we printed how many with you? A lot, like thousands. Yeah. So I'm not saying that there aren't a lot out there, but we are selective in who we give them to. And I'm just so grateful for you in that, because it could not have come out better.
Oh,
it's the
that
best.
warms my heart.
Yes.
I just want to say one thing, right? I mean, obviously I love working with you guys. Like that's a given. And that's as well as should. You guys are incredible. You guys are awesome. You guys are huge. I mean, it's been a great experience, like, and I hope it never ends. And I genuinely mean that. But I just want to say that one thing about our studio, and just a philosophy that I've always had, is that I'm always going to put my 100% of myself when I work with you. Right. And that is the truth. Like I know no other way. Like, and I'll put in more time than I should sometimes on some of the projects that I do. And that sometimes causes me to be a little behind. Right. Not always, but sometimes.
I think you're not talking to me or him about the Apple graphic.
Yeah.
It's a hit. Yeah,
right. So
we're blaming me.
No, but also, I just want everyone to know that my priority first and foremost is to making everything look as good as it possibly can at all costs.
It shows.
Time be damned, and whatever, and hours be damned. I mean, nothing for nothing. I put in 70 hours last week. Now that we have like the store,
right.
you know what I mean? Like the hours, but it's like I'm not going to stop until I'm satisfied. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yes.
And I'm grateful that it's recognized. So thank you.
For sure.
Much. Yeah.
My favorite shirt.
No, it's awesome.
So you better get on Apple.
Now you freaking threw me a curveball. They should talk about me and like get me to like.
We're on Apple, man. You got to get on Apple.
So we're not on
just
iTunes.
The dimensions, really.
We're not on, yeah. So
you're plenty popular. We're doing great here.
So we're gonna. But John's very mad at me about that. So we're gonna get that. We'll get that.
You made
done.
me nervous. I didn't know what like nerve I sparked when you said I said Apple. I was like, I felt the tension.
Yeah, no, because I saw his head go down. Just started writing. You know what I mean? Like
just right.
Remind Dennis about
all
iTunes.
My notes. It's just Apple the whole thing.
Yeah, no, we're really lucky to be on there, and I understand now what goes into your production here, and it's not easy, but it is amazing, and what we can do with this and the platform and where we can go with this, and we can't wait to have you on. So I hope that you'll get on there with us.
Absolutely.
But so we have Tom airing tomorrow, and then we actually sit down with the Healy brothers, Pat Healy's sons, Justin and Sean Healy, the heirs to Viking Yachts, and they are spearheading that Valhalla Boat Works, which has been unbelievably received like it should be. I mean, the weight on those
such
boats.
A gorgeous boat.
Oh my gosh. Like
such a gorgeous
boat. The lines, everything about it.
It's a freaking Lamborghini.
It really is.
I mean, it really is.
But at the same time, as the integrity of a Viking, like,
yes.
We say building a better boat every day, like they really outdid themselves. And I'm glad that people have recognized that. So I'm really excited to hear from those two, young gentlemen that I've grown up with, and dive into the background of not just, about the boats, but like, what is it like to live a day in your shoes of, the pressures of being the heiress to Viking, and also like, you just paved your own way. Like you didn't just step in and continue this great boat building, manufacturer, but you also created a whole new line. Like that's something I can't wait to dive into. So stay tuned for that.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. I don't want to throw out too many spoilers, you know what I mean? But, find your podcast, listen to your podcast, please. Listen, I'll be honest with you. You're the first person that I brought onto this show where I've told people, go listen to this podcast.
I appreciate
I don't
that.
think we've done that. Have we promoted like another podcast on the show? I don't think we have. Think about it. I don't think we really have. Now that we've promoted other TV shows like Unfathomed. We have, George Gods is a very good friend of the family, very good friend of the show. George Pavaromo's show, obviously. We promoted his show. I mean, there have been other television shows, but I don't think we've ever really promoted another podcast. And I want that to speak to the audience and just let them know that this is something I believe in what you're doing.
I appreciate that so much.
Please go watch it. If you're watching this show and you're in the market to purchase a Viking, please get in touch with Lexie.
Yes, a Viking, a princess. It can be new, used,
or a princess,
anything.
I didn't know about the princess thing before I brought you on here, so I learned something new today. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, is there anything you want to tell the Connected by Water audience before we sign off?
I feel like your following already has an appreciation for the water, but like I said, book the trip.
Book the trip.
Just book the trip. I know that we've all had a different past year here. So when you get the opportunity, research those destinations and go. And right now, everyone is getting into boating if they haven't already been in or moving up. Our business is booming. It is a good time. So I would love your listeners to know that
it is a good time.
We just had our last 2 months were a record for our company. And we thought last year was a record, and then it just keeps every month. We did, I believe, 110 million in the last 2 months. So now's a good time. And snatch up the good ones, find the clean boats and do it and go spend time with your family on the water.
Yeah, and check out that 54.
Yes, it's going to be at Palm Beach Boat Show.
Yeah.
So Palm Beach Boat Show is the 25th through the 28th of March, and HMY's display will be, if you go to like ER Bradley's, because that's the best way to tell people, we're pretty close there, right in front.
So we will tell people, because this airs on Friday, to go now.
Yes.
To go tonight and go tomorrow.
A couple more days.
Right, to go tonight and go tomorrow and go to the boat show then and check it out and go check out HMY and go see them.
Are you coming?
I'm going to go. Oh, yeah, we're going.
You got to have like the full Harris group, because Harris always comes in, rolls deep, got 12. I'm like in the middle of work.
Yeah, he does the scooter thing. And
he's like, let me get you a drink. And I'm like, I'm working.
Yeah. Listen, I love when they always just hijack my day. When the Harris goes to a boat show, it is.
He comes in hot.
It's an experience. Yeah.
Comes in hot.
I went to the Fort Lauderdale with Harris. From the first time I went to a boat show with Harris, I was just like, wow, so this is going to the boat show.
Yes.
So yeah,
he does it right.
Like, it's not like you're walking around and going to booths and you're like, hey, talking to people. It's like you're just.
Oh, you're going.
Yeah.
You better have your walking shoes on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do always with Harris. We go into the Viking product together, and
every drinking
talk about what's new.
Too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
Bring your Papa's Pilar with him. Bring a flask.
Bring your own bottle. So, all right. Thank you so much for coming in today.
I'm so happy to be here, and I can't wait till you come. Oh, I had a blast. I can't wait till you come and talk to us.
Let me know when.
Yes.
Whenever you got me. Whenever.
All right.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, thanks for coming in today. I had a ball with you today. Really,
me too.
It's been quite a pleasant afternoon for me. I mean, listen, we just opened up the store. We're a week old on the store. Everything that led up to that was just like extremely stressful and crazy. And like I said, now this has been the first week we have the store open. So I've had to be here every day with the store from open to close. I literally put in, like, weekend included, I put in like 70 hours last week. So this drink with you, or a couple of drinks, whatever, like it's been
don't count these.
Extremely pleasant. And, thank you very much.
Congratulations. This place is incredible.
Thank you very much.
And I know how hard you've worked for it, you and your wife and your whole family. So congrats to your whole team.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks. All right. And also, I just want to say that if you are in the market for a new truck or a new vehicle, that you should call the folks at Joey Cardi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Oh, yes.
And, especially if you're a boat puller, the new 2500s and new 3500s have come a long way.
Those are beautiful.
Yes. And they're absolutely phenomenal. I have a Ram Rebel. which is a little bit more of a muscle car kind of thing.
I drive a truck.
Right.
I'm full in, so I love what they have on. They always have the best in their lot.
Yep. And Joey obviously is a member of our Connected by Water community. He owns the Surreal program, and so they don't just talk the talk, they walk the walk, and he is deeply embedded in this Pompano community as being both a philanthropist and a good owner of a business and a good owner of a boat and a fishing team. And we just had the Surreal team on here.
I loved that episode.
Week, and oh man, those guys are the best. Those guys
never
really
a dull
are.
moment.
I mean, funny that my wife loves that whole team. Like those guys are so nice to my wife. Right. So
when you're in with a wife, you're like, you're solid.
Yeah. So it's like we were down at the Jimmy Johnson at the Hard Rock, and they had a great tournament. The Surreal guys are amazing. We love them.
Yeah, I'm always rooting them on when I'm watching live scoring or fishing in the tournament.
Yeah, we're one big family. So I also want to say that if you happen to be thirsty and you want to drink, pull up a bottle of Papa's PILAR, right?
I haven't had a rum and coke in a while, and this was so refreshing.
It's good, right?
It's amazing. And if I do drink rum and coke, this is the drink of choice. But I'm really glad that I got back away from cheerleader beers today.
You know,
Are you guys really get a kick out of that, huh?
The best part of it, I don't feel garbage at the end with this. It really is absolutely phenomenal, and it's just a smooth rum, and it's just very good stuff. The best part of working with the PILAR team is the family at Papa's PILAR. They're just amazing people.
I remember when they were not even launched yet, I was sitting in the Abacos at the pool bar for a tournament, and I was working with Skip Smith, and it was the end of our tournament. We just had our awards banquet, and I met somebody from their family, and he was like, hey, like this is coming out, so I'll never forget it. And he like let me try each one, and he was so proud of it. And this was, I want to say, because I was in college. I'm going to show my age. I know it doesn't sound bad. You said mid-20s. Thank you for saying that earlier, by the way. It's like
it's
20s.
True. You're always in your mid-20s, so you're not.
Oh, perfect. So I remember that. And I remember he literally made me try each one. And I was like, wow. And like, I don't shoot rum straight. I'm just not that cool, I guess. But I was so impressed. And I knew that how passionate he was before
this
it even hit the shelf.
This does carry well over ice, like extremely well,
yes.
by the way.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So listen, check out this. I know today we drank the Marquesas, which you didn't want to stop drinking that because that is the top of the line stuff there. But the dark is phenomenal. The blonde is what I switched to, which I always like lightening it up with that a little bit sometimes. We did not crack open the sherry cask today, but I have to tell you, it is phenomenal. Do you realize that one of the unique things about Papa's PILAR rum is that is housed in bourbon casks?
No.
That's what gives it its distinct flavor.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So the sherry cask is housed in sherry casks. It's very sweet. It's very good.
That one's really good straight.
Yeah. Very good. Very
excited
good.
To try it.
Yeah. So that is a unique thing about that rum. So I want to say that also too, if you're on the water and you're without an EPIRB, please don't be ever in your lifetime.
So important.
And check our friends at ACR, and they're going to dial you in right. All right.
That's a no-brainer.
They have a lot of good safety products. They pounce themselves as the science of survival, which is very true. We all know people that could have used that they're not with us today. We all know people that did have that are, and that's about the best thing I could say about that. All right. So please look up ACR. It's the ACR text on social media, and maybe we could throw up a little thing about that. And
have everybody check out Fish for Holly tournament and look forward to that in January.
1,000%. Thank you for bringing that up.
Every year in January, Fish for Holly tournament, look it up. You will have the best time of your life. It's such a fun tournament. Just check it out on social media. It's online.
Do you want to say anything about Holly here? I mean, listen, I know we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, and I wanted to go a little bit deeper into it, but we didn't get to. And actually, now that you bring that up, I kind of regret not bringing that up a little bit more. But yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm sorry, I actually didn't bring it up a little bit more earlier.
Yeah, no, awesome tournament. Like, just, you'll never feel a vibe. We always have our favorite tournament. That's always going to be my favorite tournament. not only because she has a special place in my heart, but because of just the camaraderie of the tournament. People come together and 66 boats. We had over 250 anglers, and it's like, you don't have to have like this whole team assembled. You just pay per angler, and we help people that maybe don't have a boat to go on, jump on somebody's boat. Like, no matter you have a team, you don't, you just want to jump in, you want to be there for a good cause. It's accommodating to everybody. You'll have the time of your life. You will walk away inspired with the charity that it contributes to. And I was a very, very fortunate person to know Holly. She was the most incredible person you'll ever meet. She was a Keys girl, but it's so funny because that girl has best friends from Isla Mirada to Palm Beach to Ocean City, Maryland. Doesn't know a stranger. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Check out that tournament.
I didn't know her, but obviously it speaks volumes that if there's a tournament of this magnitude, dedicated to her memory, that brings the noise like this one does every year, that speaks volumes. So
yes.
Yeah, that's great. And thank you for touching on that a little bit. So what's the charity that is a beneficiary?
So there's two. There's the Holly Given Foundation, and they give out scholarships to local girls, and also they support the Upper Keys Domestic Violence Shelter, and that whole organization. And what's really cool is that they give scholarships to people that stay in the Keys and that find different career paths and things like that. So they've got a lot of unique ways that they look at applicants. It's not just like, they don't go specific. They look at all applicants and decide, hey, like, who needs a second chance, or who is really making, a way in the Keys. So I feel like we're keeping it in the Keys community, and also,
cool.
Helping out.
Who wants to go to Florida State but might be influenced to go to Florida for some weird reason.
Don't support those people. Yeah, no, even like they support some captains that want to get their captain's license. I love that.
Oh, nice.
Like, it's so cool. So all around amazing.
Awesome.
And thank you. You donated one of your pieces in our silent auction.
Of course.
You were a huge contributor to that, and I can't thank you enough for that.
No, thanks for, of course. My pleasure. Are we leaving any of our list out on that we got to say at the end? I don't think so today.
Papa's Raw Bar.
Papa's Raw Bar. If you're hungry, go to Papa's Raw Bar.
Always.
They have the Connected by Water sushi menu. They almost love that Papa's. You go to Papa Amigos right down here the street, right? You get yourselves the sushi taco. There's a Takizi taco on there, right? You got to try it out.
I had the sushi roll the other day that has stone crab and king crab in it. Like, mind blowing.
Sushi tacos and sushi rolls, and then you can't go wrong. So yes. Papa's all around, right? All right.
CV?
What's that?
Yeah.
Well, I designed an entire line of clothing for CV. Some people may have heard about it. It's called the DFRIEL collection, right? So go on to shop.cvboats.com and go check it out. Buy a lot of clothes.
Yes.
We're pretty proud of that. So, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Good. You want to stick around for another drink at the PILAR bar?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Good. So your ego is not your amigo. Always do your best, and then just let God do the rest.
Love it.
And do not ever forget that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we're always connected by water. Lexie Creary, thank you very much.
Thank you.